what more can be said about Ricky Carmichael? How about this? RC has 72 wins in AMA Motocross, the same number of wins as Jeremy McGrath in Supercross. He's also 3 races away from his second perfect season. Carmichael goes for his 10th sweep of the season next at Broome, Tioga on ESPN2. And we welcome you to the Broome, Tioga, just outside of Binghamton, New York. Not quite the Big Apple, but close enough. It is the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Championship. And we welcome you to Broome, Tioga for the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Championship, the Scott USA MX Nationals. Todd Harris, Cameron Steele, and Jamie Little in the house. Today it is picture perfect day. But yesterday, Cameron, a whole different story.
Coming down in buckets, they decided to cancel practice.
And last week, it was the auspicious debut of Alessi, and words were exchanged.
Just looking forward to today, hopefully get the whole shot, finish out top 5.
Everyone in the 125 class wants to kill him. Everyone in the 250 class wants to kill him.
You can't discount the other riders out there. That's not too cool.
And here was the incident on the track. Camp Alessi, that was just a no-brainer, and then the young man having problems on the track. Meanwhile, Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed in some of the best racing we've seen all year, but Carmichael would go on to get the victory.
And Chad Reed in motor number 2 having a problem then getting cleaned by Sean Hamlin, and Ricky Carmichael continues to move towards the perfect season.
Well, Ricky Carmichael has never had to wait to the last event to clinch his title, and that's a streak I think he'd like to keep going.
I'm going to try to keep it that way. It's never that much fun to do that, and I'm going to do everything I can to wrap this thing up this weekend, and if not, we'll go to Steel City and take care of it there.
As we take a look at our standings right now, there's Carmichael with 450 points. Chad Reed in second place. And Cameron, if the math is correct, what does he need?
He needs, Ricky Carmichael needs to better him by 12 points, but if Ricky goes 1-1, Chad goes 2-2, he can only gain 6.
There is Chad Reed, currently second overall in the point standings. Needs to stay within 12 points to keep Ricky from clinching. Kevin Windham currently sitting in 3rd place, having kind of an up and down year, but he'd like to make a big splash here at Broome, Tioga. Meanwhile, currently sitting 5th overall, Michael Burnham. We talked to him about the consistency of the 250 class.
Yeah, it seems like it's a little different. Last year when I finished in 5th in the 125, it was it's still a little bit more spread out, and this year it seems like the consistency, other than James, is it's pretty up and down as far as who's been getting on the podium and who's been getting 10th, so it's been up and down this year in the 125 class, that's for sure.
Well, John Dowd is here ready to race, as is Mr. Wall. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, the Canadian National Championships wrapped up last weekend, and Jean-Sebastian Watt took home his 4th consecutive championship. Now he, John Dowd, number 16, and Blair Morgan have turned up to race a couple motos here for the last few rounds of the Outdoor National Motocross Series. Keep your eyes on them, guys.
As we take a look at our track facts, Cameron, hasn't changed much. One thing, though, it is very muddy.
Well, the rain from yesterday is going to make it very deep and gooey in some spots. Tons of ruts developing. It will be tough to negotiate multiple lines because riders are going to be really slowing down going into the corners because of those deep ruts.
Temperature about 66 degrees, a slight wind, and a 50% chance of rain. Hopefully we'll get the racing in before the rain returns. As we take a look at our Honda starting grid, there's Carmichael, Reed, Windham, Villeman, Byrne, Fonseca, and Way. Justin Bucklew also in there, John Dowd, and Blair Morgan. Clark Stiles also on the starting line. Well, with conditions the way they are today, Cameron, Ricky Carmichael on a 4-stroke, you got to like his chances.
Definitely. Traction will be an issue, and the guys on the 4-strokes will be throwing tons of roost. There's going to be mud flying. Ricky Carmichael's going to be coming all the way from the left side or now the right side, all the way inside. You see Chad Reed sliding off the concrete. That's going to hurt his starting chances.
Chad Reed gets pitched off the 2 4-strokes. Kevin Windham also in the fray this time.
And Craig Anderson again back towards the front. This guy's been getting great starts. Also, that's Joaquin Rodriguez on the 108 KTM.
So it's Carmichael in first, Rodriguez on the KTM in second, Windham also coming in view, and as Cameron pointed out, number 30, Craig Anderson, who has been at the start of every one of our last 3 races.
And the riders outside the top 20 have to ride day qualifiers. Rodriguez did that, and he won his day qualifier, so we know he's relatively comfortable here. But Kevin Windham getting right on the inside and just takes the line. Kevin didn't even try to dive to the inside line. He just took the line Rodriguez was going into.
And that is what we've expected from Kevin Windham from the get-go this year. People thinking at Hangtown that's what we'd see, but Kevin Windham has had an up-and-down season. Currently running in 2nd place, 3rd overall. Number 22, Chad Reed, is in 3rd place right now, and Rodriguez on the KTM has slid back to 4th place after a tremendous start. But for anyone who has ideas of winning today, letting Ricky Carmichael get away like this is bad news, Cameron.
Well, you can see Kevin Windham on the charge right now. It looks like he's trying to chase down and keep Ricky honest. We'll see if he can stay with him in the first few laps here. That'll give him a lot of momentum to go through the moto, but Kevin definitely, like you said, has not been putting in the performances. I mean, remember, he's the only guy that's won an outdoor national in the last 3 years besides Ricky Carmichael.
And remind you that Ricky Carmichael has a perfect streak going this year. He has yet to lose. Kevin Windham ended that streak. Can he do it again? Last year, the performance he put in was tremendous as he made his return to motocross. So can Windham break the Carmichael streak this year? Chad Reed currently sitting in 3rd. So it's Carmichael, Windham, and Reed, your top 3 here in 250 Moto number 1.
And just when you talk to Kevin or look at him, you can see that he's definitely a little frustrated with the way things have been going. And I don't know if it's just the rigors of being on the tour. And that, the big triple downhill with the mud in that corner at the top. We didn't know if these guys would be doing it all the time. They see Ricky actually switching ruts there, going through that corner. So Ricky working the track.
Well, you bring up a good point. Kevin Windham going back-to-back this year, does the Supercross season and then right into the Motocross year. And after he came back from injury, he just went into that Supercross season, so he had a bit of a break. But this year, he's doing double duty, and maybe that's wearing on him. He's still a very talented rider as he sits in 2nd right now behind Carmichael.
Yeah, definitely you can't put any digs on Kevin Windham, and we know he can win. I think when you hear the disappointment in people's voice, I think people just want to see him up there,
right,
mixing it up with Ricky Carmichael. And he's staying close right now.
Carmichael has taken a few looks over his shoulder right now, seeing the Honda, the number 14 of Kevin Windham, staying in his rearview mirror, but it's Carmichael who was out in front. And I think the biggest surprise for me, Cameron, is how comfortable Ricky looks on that 4-stroke.
And you see him sessioning through those whoops there. He actually tripled over that one area, and Kevin Windham didn't do it, and Chad Reed didn't do it. He actually took a different line there as we move back here. This is the 4th place battle.
So the battle for 4th place with Chad Reed currently sitting in 3rd rages on, and this is the tightest race we have on the track right now. Rodriguez and Sebastian Tortelli. Tortelli on the Suzuki, and Rodriguez just came up short.
No, he jumped that double uphill, and there's super soft goo in the landing there. We don't see anybody jumping it, and Rodriguez jumped to see him basically stick. I thought Tortelli was going to get a run and get right on by.
108 is the KTM of Rodriguez, 103 is the Suzuki of Sebastian Tortelli, and Tortelli doing somewhat of a Windham return, coming out so fast and charging so hard.
And he's the only guy that's been on the podium on a 2-stroke this year. He's been up there twice, so, and our last event he was on the podium, so definitely comfortable with the bike, and he's definitely getting into the swing of racing again.
If we can keep Sebastian Tortelli healthy, we should have a great battle in the Supercross Series coming up starting in December with our 2 international stops in Canada. So Sebastian Tortelli currently running in 5th. Your leader is Ricky Carmichael, and look at this. Kevin Windham is not only staying with him, he's closing on him.
Well, all the Ricky Carmichael talk, let's not forget that Kevin Windham won the first moto here last year. He split moto wins with Carmichael, and Carmichael won the 2nd one, getting the overall. Right now, Ricky in front, Kevin in 2nd. Can he catch him and pass him? That's the question. Hang on to your seat, people. We'll be back in a minute.
And we are back to the Broome. Ricky Carmichael, 250, moto number 1 is your leader. Kevin Windham currently sits in 2nd.
Well, when we went away, Windham looking like he was closing in a bit, but right now Ricky Carmichael has some breathing room, and you can see that's that double that Rodriguez did, and you see even Ricky not doing it and just sticking on that uphill. That thing is not fun.
Good battle brewing back in 6th place. Number 28 is Heath Voss, getting some pressure right now from 36 bike of Sean Hamlin on the Suzuki, and if Sean can keep this thing rubber side down, Cameron, he's definitely a top 10 finisher.
Sean Hamlin is so great at outdoor motocross. In fact, he's been good a lot of times when he's been on the motorcycle, but he's been hurt this year. You know, he's elbow injuries, a couple times he's been out, and then last week, the big tangle up with Chad Reed. I mean, wow, that was vicious looking. Oh, and you see he going to the outside and then missing the rut. And Mike gives Sean the run he needs, but Voss will have the inside, and then,
nice.
Hamlin inside on him. That was a great move.
Locks up the rear brakes, brings it around, and cuts to the inside, so Hamlin will move into 6th place. Sean Hamlin on board the Suzuki. And he's Voss, the THQ World Supercross GP champion from last year, now slides into 7th. And look at Voss. He is sliding back. Maybe it's Hamlin. He is just on the throttle.
Yeah, Hamlin looking comfortable. You can see his foot just moving around there, trying to keep it up with that rut. It's been very tricky here. A lot of braking bumps and then a lot of deep ruts and some very soft spots on the track. And then you look right here, and it looks really dry and tacky.
Voss now getting some more pressure on the outside as another rider comes into view, and it's the burner, Michael Byrne, who currently sits 5th overall the points. Number 26 on board the Kawasaki, and Cameron almost cleaned out Voss.
Just throwing caution to the wind and almost using Voss to keep himself upright. I mean, charging down that hill, getting on the binders late. Those braking bumps can just be absurd, and you see him getting sideways but holding it together and making a charge right now at Sean Hamlin.
Well, we talked to Michael Byrne earlier in the show. Currently sits 5th overall, looking to move up and get on the podium at the end of the year, and riding like that'll do it. He just came flying in there. As we get a good look at number 36 on board the Suzuki, that is Sean Hamlin running the lime green this weekend. Hamlin, one of those guys, Cameron, we see him one week, he looks fantastic. Next week, injury, and last week when he went T-bone into Chad Reed, a scary situation, could have been a lot worse.
A little scary looking cross up there from Burner, who was 11th overall last week, and Ernesto Fonseca making an appearance in the top 10.
Fonseca, number 24, coming back from that knee surgery, the same knee surgery that Ricky Carmichael, although Fonseca did his last year during the Supercross season when we hit San Diego. So Fonseca gradually working his way back into racing speed, getting some good runs here at Broome, Tioga.
And he had a podium in the second moto at the last event, so a 3rd place. And so he's been working on his speed, getting back into the, the fight here and getting up to riding speed with all the guys. He's been looking great.
Number 23 is Kyle Lewis. They call him Lucky, and Lucky's had flashes of brilliance in the motocross season. Another guy, if he can keep the bike running, keep the rubber side down, he'll be in a good position.
He had a vicious crash this year, and many people thought he wasn't coming back to motocross this year, and just a testament to how tough and how strong in his training regime is Kyle Lewis, just coming back and getting on the dirt bike, and right now running great.
The 24 is Ernesto Fonseca on the Honda. Number 23 is Kyle Lewis. They are running 10 and 11 respectively.
And Lucky coming with an 11th overall last week, so he definitely would like to improve on that. And you can see a lot of guys dabbing a foot. It's tricky out there. It's hard to get your line. You can see right there coming out of some lines for Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, who had a great start, has gradually been sliding back just a little bit. Currently sits in 4th place, so the KTM rider maintaining his position, but he got a tremendous start, Cameron. It was that uphill double that really was his downfall.
It really was, and right now he's got Tortelli catching up just a bit from behind, so we'll see if Sebastian can catch up. And you see him working the course there, a little bit of deep ruts on the inside, but Tortelli following him right through that same section. You see how tricky it is on that inside.
Sebastian Tortelli riding with passion, and that has been the key for him this year. He is so happy to be healthy and back on the track, and we got problems. The rider has to pull aside. Great battle right here in 2nd place. Chad Reed, number 22. Number 14 on the Honda is Kevin Windham. Windham in 2nd, but Reed looking to take it over.
Reed's been just getting so good on the outdoor, and see him making that complete. It's like a pseudo double. There is a little bit of landing there, and he's going to the inside, and here off the triple jump, he's going to have the inside line going into this corner. Will Kevin shut it down? Kevin actually leaves it open. We'll see what happens here.
So Chad Reed moves into 2nd. Can he make it stick? Shuts the line down. Windham has no answer. So Kevin slides into 3rd, and Chad Reed now moves into 2nd.
Oh, and getting a little bit squirrely there for Chad. We talk about him getting better at the outdoor motocross. Remember last year, it was Ricky and it was Kevin, and not a lot of people were talking about Chad, but now Chad is firmly in the mix. You can see getting past Windham there.
We talk about Ricky Carmichael being comfortable in that 4-stroke. Chad Reed has made the transition just as smooth, and this guy, you talk about smooth, you get him on a Supercross track, he is unbelievable.
Well, the Supercross champion, it'll be a big battle next year. It should be a lot of fun, and got a battle shaping up here.
This is the battle for 9th place. Kyle Lewis, number 23 on the Honda. Nick Way, number 27 on the Suzuki. Here's a guy we talked about all season. Can Nick Way put it together through the remainder of the season and land himself a nice ride for Supercross?
He's still up in the air. He doesn't have a ride, and he's trying to find the lines around Kyle Lewis. And Kyle Lewis has been around longer than pretty much anybody on this track racing. So if there's a way to keep a rider from passing you, not just from pure speed, but from making sure there's not a line to get around, he knows the way to do it.
They call him lucky. Kyle Lewis trying to hold that position and keep Nick Way back. Your leader, Ricky Carmichael, number 4 on board the Honda. It has been Carmichael from the get-go. Did not get the whole shot, but looked all so good as they made that second turn as he is working his way up through the pack. We'll step aside, take a break from Broome, Tioga when we come back to the conclusion of Moto number 1, the 250 class, right after this.
Hi, I'm Rick Johnson, riding coach for Team Suzuki, and this is your Suzuki Riding Tip of the Week for Broome, Tioga, New York. Here at Broome, Tioga, the riders are focusing on staying low off of the jumps instead of preloading to get high. Here we watch Sean Hamlin, number 36, as he comes around a tight left-hand corner, a short double, he absorbs the takeoff, gets back onto the ground. As he accelerates down the hill, he decelerates for the big tabletop at the bottom of the hill, with a little bit of brake to stay low and not over-jump the jump. Now let's look at that at speed. And that's your Suzuki Riding Tip of the Week.
And our thanks to Rick Johnson. Welcome back to Broome, Tioga, the Scott USA MX Nationals. Ricky Carmichael out in front right now. Let's send it trackside with Jamie Little, who's with Mike Gosler, Ricky's mechanic.
Mike, are you guys thinking at all about clinching the championship today, or are you just taking it race by race?
All we can do is take it race by race. Now, I know he's probably in the back of his mind, but, you know, you just do one moto at a time. See what happens. See how the other guys do. It's up to them.
Well, Cameron, today Ricky has looked flawless, and couldn't doubt him for thinking about clinching, but he still has a lot of work to do here at Broome.
Oh, we talked about it. With Chad Reed running in second place, Ricky Carmichael will gain 3 points in this moto. He needs 12 on the day to clinch another #1 place.
So what you're saying in effect, if Ricky Carmichael goes 1-1 with the white flag out last lap, and Chad goes 2-2, Ricky can't clinch until Delmont.
If they went the same way again at Steel City at Delmont, then Ricky would clinch. So, and also another thing we got to keep on the front burner here is Ricky is still undefeated, and it looks like he's adding another moto here. That would leave only 5 motos going through the end of the season that he still would have to win. 1 here today and 2 at each of the next round.
Well, I think at the first round, everyone was waiting to see what Ricky would do. He came out, and it was Return of the King once again, and since then, he has looked almost flawless.
And you see Ricky skiing a bit there. He's got the boots out. Oh, getting a little bit squirrely. From that side of the whoops there, it's kind of deceiving. Looking from the other side, it is just one big rat's nest of whoops.
Well, next weekend we are off, no race scheduled, and that'll give Carmichael time to recoup as he goes into the last 2 events. Delmont Steel Cities in Pennsylvania, and then the grand finale at Glen Helen in California. Currently running second place and looking smooth as usual, number 22, the Thunder from Down Under, Chad Reed.
And the segue from the ultra smooth Chad Reed is the Jeremy McGrath will be at Steel City as well at the next round. I think possibly trying to retain points to keep his number 2 plate. Not that anybody that would really want to take it from him. And he's coming back to Supercross next year on a limited schedule. And whoa, Kevin Windham flying through there.
Kevin Windham currently sitting in 3rd place, and for Kevin Windham, that's a bit of a disappointment because he'd like to be out in front. Remember last year, he won the first moto here at Broome, Tioga. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here as we are on the white flag lap, and Windham comfortably sitting in 3rd, Chad Reed in 2nd, and your leader, number 4, Ricky Carmichael. It's just not right, Cameron, the way he makes it look so easy.
He does make it look easy, and the perfect season, I think one thing he's got going for him is if Chad stays close, it keeps him motivated and not thinking about that perfect season, because that's got to weigh heavily. I mean, winning a championship is one thing. You don't have to win every race to do that, but he is doing that, and it's just such an amazing feat. He did it 2 years ago. Can he bring it again?
Well, no one has been able to answer the conundrum that is Ricky Carmichael and how to stop him. He can ride from the back, he can ride from the front. It doesn't matter where you put number 4 in his Honda. Ricky Carmichael has been absolutely perfection this year on the outdoor season. A few more turns to go, and Carmichael will pick up the win here in moto number 1 at Broome, Tioga as he spots his finish line, and the checkered flag gets ready to wave. Even has time to dish out a few high fives as he goes through Mechanic Row. Your winner, moto number 1, Ricky Carmichael, on board the Honda.
Another amazing moto finish for Ricky Carmichael. And all business, he'll get up to the podium, we'll talk to him, but he's already thinking about the next moto, as is his whole team. A big shout out to Honda for the great job they've been doing.
And to give him credit also, as the rest of the pack comes through, this is the battle for 9th place. These guys are racing to the finish.
Kyle Lewis and Nick Way, and Kyle going to the inside, and looks like Nick trying to carry a little bit more speed, but both ended up in that same real deep berm. There's not really anywhere else to go there, but a couple different lines here, and we'll see side-by-side racing up the hill.
Nick Way on the left side of your screen, number 27, riding for Suzuki. Number 23 on the Honda is Kyle Lucky Lewis. Oh, and Lewis gets a little squirrely there, saves it, but he now sits in 10th place. Nick Way now into 9th.
Every point helps, every pass lets the team owners know, or the factories know, that you're chasing it and making it a race every single time out. And that's one thing Nick really has going for him, is he never gives up at the end of the motos. I mean, he charges all the time, he's in great shape, and even though he's not having a great moto finish here, he's not just mailing it in at the end.
Perfect. Comes through. Nick Way will pick up 9th place, so Way with a tremendous finish. Kyle Lewis will have to settle for 10th. Heath Voss will grab 8th. Well, as Cameron said, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll talk to your winner. Ricky Carmichael wins Moto 1. And we are back to Broome, Tioga at the conclusion of Moto number 1. Your winner, Ricky Carmichael. He's standing by with our Jamie Little.
Well, Ricky, we came into this weekend, everybody's talking about James and how he could wrap up the title. You could actually clinch here.
I could. I need a little luck. You know, I just got to do what I can do, and whatever happens behind me happens. Congratulations to Bubba on his title. This is his second 125 title, outdoor title. So really happy for him, and looking forward to racing him outdoors next year. And I'm just doing my thing. You know, these 250 guys are a little more consistent than the 125 guys, but this is a premier class.
As we take a look at our Suzuki final results, it's Carmichael Reed Wyndham, then Tortelli Rodriguez, Sean Hamlin, Ernesto Fonseca, Heath Voss, Nick Way, and Kyle Lewis rounding out your top 10. Let's send it back down to Jamie with Kevin Wyndham.
It's been 1 year since you won an outdoor national race. How much would it mean to you to win today and break his streak?
Well, I think that's just the important thing. I don't really care if it comes here or even at Glen Helen. I just myself or somebody needs to break his streak. I mean, it's ridiculous for somebody to win every race. You know, I mean, that just says, you know, how good of a rider Ricky is. But you know, there's no reason why we can't get to his level. And I'm working hard to get there. So I know Chad is as well, and every other guy out there. So hopefully we can shut him down in the second moto.
Well, folks, as a reminder, nobody does more to protect your right to ride than the American Motorcyclists Association. Every racer on the track is an AMA member. How about you? Call 1-800-AMA, join, or visit AMADirectLink.com. The AMA, rights, riding, racing. And before we go to Moto number 2, it's time to go outside the lines. This week's subject, the Women's Motocross Foundation. One year ago, a group of women met in the pits of Delmont to form what is now the Women's Motocross Foundation.
What it is basically it's a group of women that have got together to form like a common bond, and we're basically here to support our husbands, our boyfriends, sons, kind of open to anybody that's a woman that's involved. And we just give back to the organizations that help our husbands, like the ASHTOS Mobile Medical Unit, Motor Racing Outreach, and different ways if somebody gets hurt. And we're all here anyway, so we might as well get along and form a little group and, you know, benefit from that.
We set up fundraisers and events to raise money for the injured riders, for the ASHTOS Mobile Medical Unit, for MRO. Just any rider that's been injured, we just provide money to them to help them in any way that they need.
After several meetings and luncheons, the Women's Motocross Foundation has organized their first major fundraiser, an event open to the public, which will be held before the final round of the season.
This is going to be awesome. I'm so excited. It's the first annual Moto Bowl, and it's going to be held on Thursday right before Glen Helen out in LA, California by Anaheim. And it's going to be awesome. There's 40 lanes of bowling, and on those 40 lanes there's going to be one, possibly two celebrities, the riders, past champions, industry bigwigs. You go online and you can go to our website, which is www.wmxf.org, and you can click on the name and you bid to bowl with the rider. It's kind of like the golf tournaments, and there'll be 4 or 5 spots, I think, per team, and so we're going to have like 200 and some bowlers. It's going to be awesome. This is such a great opportunity that we have, and we're going to raise a lot of money to get back to the sport, and it's going to be a yearly event. We're hoping that it's such a big success that we can do it again in February during one of the Anaheims.
Sounds like a great cause. We hope to see you all there. When we come back, will Ricky Carmichael clinch the title, or will Chad Reed spoil the party? Stay with us. And we are back to Broome, Tioga for Moto number 2, the Scott USA MX Nationals from Binghamton, New York. All kinds of fancy headgear out here today. As we get set for Moto number 2, Ricky Carmichael looks to clinch the title. Now remember, he's going to need Chad Reed to not finish in second place. He needs to pick up some more points. For more on that, let's check in with Jamie Little, who's down at the starting line.
Guys, Ricky Carmichael can clinch the championship after this moto. He has to finish 9 points ahead of Chad Reed. That means Reed would have to finish 5th or worse. So everybody's talking about James Stewart clinching, but Ricky Carmichael can take home the championship today.
Well, I think anytime you're counting on Chad Reed to finish in the 5th place spot, you're not going to get very good odds on that. He's just too good. As we take a look at the Honda starting grid, it's Carmichael, Reed, Wyndham Villeman, and the rest of the crew in there. Justin Buckaloo, John Dowd, Blair Morgan, Clark Stiles. Cameron, I'll tell you what, I don't even think that he's thinking about it. As we look at the very last rider, the number 40, Jack Carpenter, cousin to Paul Carpenter. Burt Jr. out here making his pro debut.
Interesting thing, you see Ricky Carmichael with Hamlin next to him. Where's Chad Reed? He would have had second gate pick. You'd think he'd be on the inside. He's got a good start there, but he actually was late to the gate pick, so he had to pick on the outside.
He and his teammate David Villeman showing up late, so they go to the outside. No harm, no foul. Currently, he sits in 5th place, so the drama being played out here with Chad Reed now working his way up through the pack.
And I think it's definitely a stretch to think Chad Reed's going to finish outside the top 3. I mean, he's probably looking for the second place between he and Wyndham, so I don't think Ricky's going to be able to clinch the championship. But what I'd really like to see here is some racing. Let's get Wyndham and Reed up there with Carmichael. Let's dice it out a bit. We saw Reed just at the last stop getting in there, mixing up, passing back on Carmichael.
Chad Reed risking a lot there going through that section, trying to get around Rodriguez, Cameron. The ruts, they are enormous, Grand Canyon-esque. And look at the speed of Chad Reed as he goes through this section.
You make a good point, because switching lines in those ruts is definitely a scary thing to do, especially in those whoops. So Chad moving right up into second place.
So Reed in second, Carmichael in first. Here's the start again. No Chad Reed next to Ricky.
And Ricky got a great drive. No spin really off the concrete. Good tracking. But other riders also getting a good jump. Rodriguez there on the 108. Look at Craig Anderson swooping from the outside.
Look at Reed, though. This was the replay. He and Villeman both from the outside. Gets right over there with his cousin. Craig, what is in Craig Anderson's engine? That guy is flying off the line.
Definitely. Well, he's trying to put in some good results. He's going to be racing back in Australia next year, so he'd like to put in a few good ones here. And Wyndham right behind Anderson. Looks like he's going to put the move on him going into this uphill double.
Kevin Wyndham now sits in 6th place after picking up a 3rd in the first moto. And Wyndham!
Oh! K-Dub. Yard sale, throwing it around. He looked like he just came out of that rut, maybe getting more traction or less traction than he thought. Bike flying sideways, and on a downhill jump like that, that is definitely scary.
Well, I thought he was trying to do a little Bubba Scrub here or something. Look at this. Gets off the side. Oh, holds onto the bike and goes down hard.
He's lucky, lands on the seat. Watch him. And it looks like he just catches edge and throws him back, and he's lucky in hindsight there, but he stays on the motorcycle a bit, let the suspension hold him up, and
this is in real-time speed. Look at that.
Oh, that is brutal, but K-Dub is up, and he's one tough hombre. He's going to jump out there and grab the motorcycle, and maybe coming in for some pit help from his mechanic, Jonathan Hyland, making adjustments there to the front brake and maybe the guard that they have on there to protect the motorcycle.
So the 4-stroke fired back on track, but that was some valuable time lost for Kevin Windham. We're just glad he's okay as we go to the battle for 6th place right now. Good to see David Villemin out there, the 2 international riders. Villemin from France, number 12 on board the Yamaha. Craig Anderson, number 30 from Australia, Chad Reed's cousin, as that's been pointed out many a time. And Craig Anderson getting some great starts, now trying to get some great finishes.
And David Villemin coming off a couple great finishes. He has 2 4th-place finishes in the last 2 events, but in moto number 1 here, he had a bad finish, 15th, so consistency has been a bit of a problem for him. We never know for sure if he's going to be going for it or not. Right now he's attacking, and that's what he needs to be doing if he's going to be up in the fray.
Behind Villemin and Anderson, it is Heath Voss and Sebastian Tortelli. Keep your eye on 103 Tortelli. He has been a late bloomer through these motos, coming on strong towards the end. You do not want to question his fitness.
Oh, for sure. You don't want to. I mean, he is just like such a brick and ready to go at all times. And look at that move going on the outside, trying to get into the berm, trying to dive into that line on the outside of Craig Anderson, and Ando having nothing to do with that. He makes Tortelli go to the outside.
A great battle right there. Tortelli and Anderson coming through the downhill section. Just ahead of them is David Villemin.
And Tortelli jumping way out in the flats, maybe pushing a little bit too hard here. I mean, almost high side going into that berm, then jumping into the flats. Remember, he's coming off of a knee injury, actually a couple of them. So he's got to be a little bit careful what he's doing. Going to the outside again. Look how deep the ruts are.
Wow.
Cross-rutted through there.
Tortelli gets cross-rutted. That impedes his flow, unable to get around Anderson. So Craig Anderson doing a great job, and look at the drive he gets.
Let's see, now Craig is on the inside here, but swooping around the outside will be the 103 of Tortelli, and he'll make the pass stick.
Sebastian Tortelli now moving into 8th place on board of Suzuki. Craig Anderson slides to 9th place. We've got a great battle here. It's Carmichael, Reed, Rodriguez, Fonseca, and Hamlin, your top 5. And welcome back to New York, a developing situation here. Number 23, Kyle Lewis, who finished 10th in the first moto, is off the track right now. Not good news for him. Meanwhile, back in front, Ricky Carmichael, number 4, your leader.
Oh, and catching the edge of that Renthal banner there.
Let's check in with Jamie.
Hey, Kyle, hate to see you in a position like this when the race is still going on, but what happened out there?
I just went down and actually took out Michael Byrne, and he hit my radiator and just popped a hole in the radiator. So, done early. Standard for this year, it's just been one thing after another.
I wish Kyle Lewis the best of luck. We'll see him in our next round in Delmont, Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, this is David Villemin and Sebastian Tortelli battling it out for 6. Right now, the Cobra holds down the 6th place position. The 12 Yamaha trying to hold off the 103 Suzuki.
I don't know what it is, but since Tortelli's come back, these two guys end up racing quite a bit on the track. We keep talking about they came from France basically at the same time, grew up racing against each other, and Sebastian getting the better of David once again.
The French Connection battle continues on the terra firma of the United States here at Binghamton, New York, Broome, Tioga. This is round number 10, scheduled for 12 rounds. Our next stop, Delmont, Pennsylvania, and then the grand finale at Glen Helen, California on September 12th.
And you can see a rider there getting squirrely. It wasn't a rider, there's a factor, but you just see how soft it is right outside the line. And when those bikes are disappearing right there in that line, it's because the rut is so deep.
Tortelli continuing to move up through the pack as the sun begins to start to dip, and we are so lucky that the rain has held off. It looks like it's going to hold off to the end of racing today as we get a good look at Joaquin Rodriguez and Sebastian Tortelli working on his next victim. And we got a rider down. It's Kevin Windham. Amstel Chaparral Honda, as we saw the get off he had earlier. Cameron, what happened here? Watch the bottom of your screen.
Oh, it looks like he got cross-rutted, like he started to pop up out of the rut, and just look how deep it is. Look at the bike coming at you. It's just amazing what it takes to go through those lines. And remember, he had a huge crash. Maybe his bike just not performing the way it was, something bent, and getting lapped by Ricky Carmichael's got to be demoralizing.
Sure, Carmichael's just as surprised to see Kevin Windham not having his best day here at Broome, Tioga. Remember, he won the first moto here last year, but Ricky went on to get the overall. This is the battle for 5th place. Once again, it's involving 103, Sebastian Tortelli going around the Portuguese rider, and that's Joaquin Rodriguez on the KTM. Not quite getting the job done. Here he goes again. And Rodriguez holding him off this time. Tortelli gets around him.
Rodriguez coming off his best overall finish of the year, a 7th place, so a very solid performance from him, and he's right now actually sitting in even a better position. So
watch him just get the nose around him, Cameron.
Just running around on the outside, and it looks like Joaquim wanted to go to that berm, and yeah, Tony Barluti. That was the reaction.
You think Berluti's happy?
Yeah, I mean, it really is a team effort. One rider out on the track, but you got your mechanic, your team managers, riding coaches, so many different people involved with the sport of motocross, and it always seems to be just one guy out on the track getting all the accolades, but Tony Berluti's been doing a great job.
Sebastian Tortelli is like a runaway French train as he is now moving up on 4th place, and Sean Hamlin. So the two Suzuki riders will get together, and if I'm Sean Hamlin, I have got all kinds of concerns with the way Sebastian Tortelli's riding.
Well, for sure, it's going to cost him a ride on the Suzuki team the way it sounds like right now. Sean's still unsigned for next year, and Tortelli looking like the rider that's going to be there for sure. So, you know, it just a little bit of agony to the pain. You know, he's going to come up, and if he passes Sean, it just one more time, it just the psyche Sean's got to hurt with that.
And Sean Hamlin is such a great rider. I'm sure he's going to land in someone's camp, but for right now, it looks like Sebastian Tortelli, as you pointed out, Cameron, is going to join that tent, and what a tent Roger DeCosta is going to have with Davey Millsaps and Brock Hepler on the 125, Ricky Carmichael, possibly Travis Pastrana, and Sebastian Tortelli.
And Tortelli looking for ways to get around Hamlin. You see him running that inside line, trying to run momentum. It looks like he almost got held up there on that inside line. That time just got stuck in that rut.
So give credit to number 36, Sean Hamlin, doing his job and keeping Sebastian Tortelli behind him. Oh, you're kidding me.
Hello. If you missed that, there is a slight downhill double jump, but with all the mud, a lot of riders haven't been doing it. Tortelli just flies into your picture, lands right next to Hamlin. Talk about unsettling.
What do you think, Cameron? Is the knee okay?
10-4.
Sebastian Tortelli coming out of nowhere, surprising us and probably Sean Hamlin.
And this is from a different angle. Look, Hamlin pulls up on the jump. You can see a slight landing there. And oh, Tortelli almost just digs the front end in the soft stuff, but he carries the momentum, jumps to the inside coming out of the corner, and outside in move, and swoops the line there from Sean Hamlin going up the face of that triple jump.
Extremely high risk and very high reward. We saw Chad Reed try that in moto number 1. He was unsuccessful. Sebastian Tortelli, though, oh my. So David Villeman now moving to 5th place, and Sean Hamlin continues to have his issues as he loses 2 positions in 1 lap.
Well, you got to remember, he's coming off an injury, and also he had that big accident last week,
right.
So he's probably not 100% right now. I haven't had a chance to talk to him at the race here, so unfortunately, you know, Sean just moving back, but I'm sure he'll be back on his game soon.
Yeah, no question about it. Sean Hamlin is one tough cookie. Meanwhile, speaking of tough, number 4, Ricky Carmichael, who has been perfect all year, Cameron, continues to lead here in moto number 2. Looks like he's going to claim the overall. Look at that lap time, 2:11. Most guys cranking out 2:20s. Not Carmichael. He's your leader, followed by Reed, Ernesto Fonseca, Sebastian Tortelli, and David Villeman rounding out the top 5. And we are back to Broome, Tioga, just outside of Binghamton, New York. This is round number 10 of the AMA Chevrolet Motocross Series. Todd Harris along with Cameron Steele, Jamie Little down in the pits, and your leader, Ricky Carmichael, staying clean out in front, now dealing with lap traffic.
Well, the freight train continues to roll on. Ricky Carmichael seemingly going to continue on his undefeated season. Is there anything that can stop that guy? That's the question everybody keeps asking. People said it would be Wyndham. People hoped it would be Reed, but no one has been able to come up and snipe him. Is he going to have a race? Maybe not until he gets involved with James Stewart next year. That's what a lot of people are talking about. And Chad Reed's been putting in great performances, but right now he's too far back to be a part of this mix.
Chad Reed will spoil the party, though, because Ricky Carmichael was looking for those points to clinch today at Broome, Tioga, but with Carmichael in first and Chad Reed sitting in second, he will not get the points he needs to clinch, so Chad Reed will push the issue to yet another week. And it looks like Delmont or maybe Glen Helen, and we talked about at the top of the show, Ricky Carmichael has never had to wait to the last event to clinch that title.
And one other thing, let's point out real quick, we saw Michael Lessie at the beginning of the show Rumor has it, and the entry says that he will be back for Delmont, as we talked about Jeremy McGrath. So some more players coming into the mix in the next round should be exciting.
Wow, bringing out Jeremy McGrath and Michael Lessie on the line with Ricky Carmichael looking to clinch and Chad Reed looking smooth. It is a star-studded event. This is the battle for third place. Number 24 is Ernesto Fonseca from Costa Rica on board the Honda. Number 103, Sebastian the Freight Train Tortelli, as he has just moved through the pack, and it looks like he may get Fonseca here.
Oh, and a mistake there. You saw him losing traction, so Fonseca getting a little bit more breathing room. We know Tortelli will attack all the way through the moto, but Ernesto has been putting in great motos and been riding really hard.
Both these guys coming off serious knee injuries. Ernesto Fonseca, number 24 in the Honda, currently running in third. Sebastian Tortelli running in fourth. And Ricky Carmichael, he needs those 9 points over Chad Reed to clinch. Yeah, he is razor sharp. He's been razor sharp since the first event, Cameron.
Since birth, or since he's been gotten on the motorcycle.
White flag is out. That means it is the final lap of the race here as Carmichael can back off the throttle just a little bit. That is not the case for Ernesto Fonseca. He currently runs in third. Sebastian Tortelli is all over the back of him, and Tortelli looking for somehow to get on the podium.
Well, Fonseca coming with the 5th overall last week, and look at Tortelli looking for the outside line. He is all over Fonseca like a cheap suit.
They sprinkled something in his Wheaties today because Sebastian Tortelli has been on a mission today. Absolutely flying through the track as they come through the white flag, so you can see the gap that they have to get up to Ricky Carmichael. In between them is second place in Chad Reed.
And Tortelli looking at different lines, but Fonseca playing it tough. He is not giving up. And big downhill triple jump, and the salute from Ricky Carmichael.
Undefeated in 2004 is Ricky Carmichael. He has been spectacular. He has been spectacular for Honda, and remind you that he will be switching over to Suzuki for the Supercross season, but he is doing it right for Honda right now as he comes through, and a few more turns and he'll see the checkered flag. You know, he was running Seabiscuit at the start of the year on his pants. I think right now they should run War Admiral because this guy is unbelievable. Ricky Carmichael picking up the victory at Binghamton.
And we got to check in and see what's going on. We know Chad's going to get second. He was cleanly out there. Look at this, still battling it out.
The battle for third place, 24 on the right side of your screen is Ernesto Fonseca. That's a lap rider in between them. And look at that, Tortelli takes advantage of the lap rider, dives in and they get together. Oh my! Sebastian Tortelli and Ernesto Fonseca get together right near the finish line, and both men go down. And unfortunate turn of events because they were having a great battle for that third place position. Tortelli up and running. Let's look at it again, Cameron.
And you see Tortelli come out into him, and it looks like they both have their own line, and Tortelli just comes over into Fonseca, has nowhere to go, and wow, it looks like, I mean, Tortelli's hand going right onto the motor. Watch where Tortelli's hand plants out on the bike.
Oh.
That looks so scary.
And here was the reaction from pit row.
Kenny Germain frustrated with the crash, and then Jonathan Hyland just amped that the Honda rider was able to get up first, and they're not done battling. They're not to the finish line just yet.
Well, Carmichael has already won. Reed has gone through. This is the battle for third place. Ernesto Fonseca coming through.
And he's going to get it.
Oh my, what a finish. So Ernesto Fonseca gets third. Sebastian Tortelli gets fourth.
And the overalls will go just the other way. And Fonseca from Costa Rica, Tortelli from France. You see Ricky Carmichael there looking on, giving him the good job. Just glad everybody's safe.
So the Suzuki final results look like this. It's Carmichael, Reed, Fonseca, Tortelli, and Way getting a 6th place finish. Rodriguez finishes in 7th.
You know, every week I feel like I sound like a broken record. Ricky wins again, but 20 wins in 20 starts. Ricky, it's unbelievable, and it's like you're doing it with ease.
I don't know if it's with ease. It's hard. You know, Chad gets up there in second and is on my tail for a while, and I kind of have to really put in good laps and make no mistakes, but my bike setup was awesome that time. I mean, I knew when I took the hot lap, of like, these guys are going to have to be on their A game because we changed one little thing, and dude, it was so good.
I have to ask you about James. He tied your all-time 125 win record today. How does that make you feel?
You know, records are made to be broke, but I got one thing he don't have. That's a perfect season. But the guy is amazing. Looking forward to riding with him next year, and you know, if anybody could beat it, I'd rather have a Floridian beat me than anybody else.
Great job today, Ricky.
Thanks a lot.
As we take a look at our Suzuki overall results, Carmichael going 1-1, Reed, Tortelli, Fonseca, and Rodriguez, your top 5. Back down to Jamie, who's standing by with second place on the day, and Chad Reed.
Chad Reed on the podium, second overall. When did you know that K-Dub went down? You didn't have to worry about him.
I didn't know he went down. I was not really worried about K-Dub right now. Just trying to bridge the gap with me and Ricky. You know, he's got a perfect season going, and I want to stop it. But you know, we're trying every weekend, and it's frustrating. You know, it's not for heck of trying. You know, everybody on the team's working really hard, and we're trying everything to get on top.
As we take a look at the standings, there is Ricky Carmichael, a perfect 500 points, needing those very valuable points in Delmont. Chad Reed sits in second, Wyndham in third, back down to Jamie.
Now the contact with Ernie, was that just racing, no hard feelings?
No, you know, Ernie, we cycle together and we do a bunch of things together. So, you know, we are friends, but, you know, on the racetrack, you know, I'll try to pass him, you know, and sometimes he get tough a little bit out there, but I know he's going to be tough on me too. So, you know, I tried hard and, you know, we shake hands and, you know, he got it over me, but, you know, I'm happy and I try hard, you know, that's all I can say, you know.
Well, that'll wrap it up from Broome, Tioga, and Binghamton. On behalf of Cameron Steele and Jamie Little, I'm Todd Harris saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Your winner from Broome, Tioga, Ricky Carmichael.